What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Texas Recruited Film Twitter page. Back with our little segments, spotlighting high school programs getting ready for the basketball season. I believe it's like practice is less than like 40 days away. Tonight we got Grapevine High School assistant coach Chris Blakeley. What's going on, man?
C. Smith, what's going on? And everybody, thanks for having me.
Tell us how the off season's going.
Off season's been good, man. The guys have been working really hard. I had a baby in July, so that kind of, got the off season off to a good start for us at home. But no, the guys have been working. It's nice to have them on campus. They're just competing, and we're lifting and doing all kinds of skill work, just gearing up for the season. We are 56 days, I think, from our first game. I asked Siri a second ago.
Yeah. Siri. She knows everything, don't she?
Yeah, she's smart.
Before we get too far into it, man, for the people that don't know you, give us your basketball background, history on yourself, stuff like that.
Yeah, I come from a basketball family. I feel super fortunate. My granddad was coaching in the 70s in the ABA, and then also at North Texas. And my father was an agent. He represented NBA players back in the 80s with my uncle. I've got lots of family members, cousins that have played overseas. So I feel super fortunate based on just my family. And then all the people I've worked for have just been unbelievable, from starting back from when I played at J.J. Pierce High School for Mark Johnson, who's still there today. Chad Lawson was an assistant coach there. His brother's coaching at Richardson, Kevin, but just played for some unbelievable coaches. Coach Seibert, actually, who's also, was the head coach at Grapevine. I played for in high school as well. And going on to ACU, playing for Coach Golding and Coach Tanner, and so many just amazing assistant coaches there that are all, doing amazing things now. And then going on to working the G League for Coach Bob McKinnon there. Who's just a legend up there in Frisco, working for the Texas Legends. He's just an outstanding role model, somebody I learned a lot from, as well as that entire staff. George Gallinopoulos is now the head coach of the Legends. Vin Baker, who just has an unbelievable story. Zach Chu, Zindon Hamilton, guys like that. Charlie Bell. Just was able to pick up a lot of things from the G League. And then at North Texas, spent 3 years there as director of scouting analytics, as well as a grad assistant. And just, I don't have enough time to describe how much I learned from those guys up there, but they do everything.
You got all the time you need, man.
Those guys do it at a super high level. Coach McCaslin, Coach Hodge, so many coaches and players that I've just been fortunate to be around. I feel, like I said, super fortunate, blessed to be in the position that I am today, working for so many people who just know the game and have been around it, and I've been able to learn a ton from them.
Yeah, I was actually looking at. You said your grandpa, right?
Yeah.
What's his first name?
Bill. You do a little
Google. Yeah, I was Googling, man, last night, and he's the first thing that popped up. He had an incredible what was it, like 10 seasons at St. Mark's?
Yeah, he did. He won a couple state chips at St. Mark's as well.
Yeah, man.
His claim to fame, he won one in tennis. I've got his little
the tennis record. Like, he only lost like 2 times.
Yeah, St. Mark's, they had some good tennis players. He jokes around about that one. I don't think he can take too much credit for some of those tennis championships, but he was kind of, he was a big guy. I mean, he like, when you talk about my story, you can't really leave him out, because he really started everything in my family. His legacy is pretty incredible. We called him big because he was like 6'6", but he wore these cowboy boots that made him like 6'9". So he's a big old dude, and just larger than life. Man, somebody that I looked up to growing up, and has some unbelievable stories from his times with the referees to, just a lot of people share stories of me. He's no longer with us anymore, but he's somebody that, I just love chopping it up with referees and older coaches that tell me stories about him.
They still remember him.
Yeah, there's a lot of those.
Yeah.
There's a lot. I mean, when I was at North Texas, especially, I mean, people would just come up to me at restaurants, like all over the city of Denton, and just tell. I mean, I had like guys. I have this thing on my desk. I wish I was at my office. I could show you, but I have this like drawing, like a painting drawing of my granddad on the bench with like a former UNT player, Kenneth Lyons, and it's like unbelievable. And this guy just gave it to me while I was working in North Texas, and it sits on my desk. It's been there for the last 4 or 5 years, so it's pretty awesome. And he's the patriarch of the family, so he's kind of the godfather in our family.
That's great, man.
Yeah.
Before we get into this team this year, we got to talk about 2 players that y'all graduated this past season. Mitch Williams, who's at Ranger, and Terence Ramirez, who's at UTA. Both big time players, big time guards, man, shooters. They were definitely good for me with my camera. Talk about everything they did for y'all's program.
Golly, yeah, both those guys, I mean, in their own unique way, sort of laid the foundation for just for future guys to come through and be successful at Grapevine. We've had a lot of successful players at Grapevine. A lot of people don't know, but there have been guys that have come and played and gone on to college, but these 2 guys, Mitch and Terence, no one worked. Like, Mitch's work ethic was insane. Like, that kid would wait. I thought I showed up early, and I would get there, and he's just sitting in his Jeep, like, waiting for me to open the door at 6 a.m. so he could get on the gun, like, every day. It was crazy. Just, dark outside. And I'm like, how long have you been sitting there, dude? But he's just waiting for me to open it. So he was like a cockroach. We just find him in the gym, like dead or alive. We'd find him there all the time. Janitors would have to kick him out. He's just a gym rat. And I'm super happy we were able to get him over at Ranger. With 2 of my best friends, actually, TJ Cox and Anthony Willis, who I both worked at North Texas together. They're over at Ranger, and Mitch he's going to be successful in whatever he ends up doing. But and Terrence both. I mean, their talent, and Mitch was one of those guys that actually no one thought he was even going to be good except for him, and he just. I didn't meet him until he was a junior. So I got to spend the last 2 years with him when I got to Grapevine and just saw him improve. And Terrence, I only got to know and coach for a year. But, you talk about talent and just an unbelievable story. Everything he's been through just with his family. I love them both. And, there's a lot of kids today that look up to both of them still when they come back on campus. It's like a celebration. And not even just these 2 kids. These are the only 2 that, went on to play in college from that senior group last year. We had 10 seniors leave, but we still have a group message with those guys, and we're planning on having an alumni luncheon in December and hopefully bring back those guys. It's just super cool to see them graduate and continue to have success.
Yeah, I got to see Mitch play the other day at that Birdville Open Gym. My God, man. And I texted you as soon as I left. That kid can flat out shoot the damn ball.
And it's funny. I compared him to, and it's I hate using it because it's like Birdville's the rival down the street. But but I compared him to a DJ Draper, similar. They have some similarities and some differences, but their work ethic and their just kind of who they are as people. And then the way the ball goes in the hole. I've seen the dude shoot 100 threes and make 98. So it's like you're watching this guy. You're surprised when he misses. Because it just when it comes off his hands, you think it's going in. He thinks it's going in. Everyone in the gym thinks it's going in.
Both games I went to last year, he played. He played great. The Birdville game and Richland, I believe y'all played Richland when I was there.
Yeah, absolutely. I wish we still had him. We could use Mitch this year. We could use somebody to just stick out there and say, "Hey, man, we're gonna pass you this ball.
Just shoot the ball from anywhere. So we're not fully into practice yet, but we just had the Gasso Fall Shootout. You got to see you guys compete, and I guess everybody got 2 games. Talk about what y'all saw, what y'all liked, what y'all need to work on.
Yeah, man, we saw a lot, and thankfully we were able to get the games on Baller TV because we needed to watch it and we needed to learn.
And you played 2 good teams too.
Yeah, two great teams. Midlothian's guard that's got the UNT offer is a stud. I mean, absolutely can fill it up. They had multiple guys that could go. And we did kind of a mini scout for it just to kind of prepare our guys. Lancaster, I mean, you're talking about a heavy hitter in Dallas. Like, I consider myself a bit of a Texas basketball historian, and I was one of those kids that grew up and would get the Dallas Morning News and just open it up straight to the basketball.
Oh yeah,
read the
back
box
in the day, man.
Yeah. And so, Lancaster, we know is a name, and they've been a name for a while. And it's like, I just got excited when I saw we were playing. I was like, let's go. Like, we got a chance to, compete and beat somebody that is a name. It's like these guys have won 2 state championships in the last 5-6 years. Like, they've had multiple Division I players. Like, let's go compete. And so our guys were excited. They were ready to compete. We were up 12 in that game with I don't even know, maybe 5 minutes to go, I want to say. And we kind of showed our lack of experience with a 9-point swing involving a bench technical foul. And so it was we lost by 1 point to a really good team with multiple Division I players on their team. And I was really obviously not the result we wanted in either game. We lost both games after being up double digits. But it was really great to show, especially our young guys, just how to act at the end of games and how to, and they didn't have a coach. Like, we gave them 2 of our football guys who were still finishing their season on the bench. But that's what the fall is for. I mean, we're learning, and we're glad that it didn't count against our record. But I think that they showed their effort and intensity levels were super high, and we competed against 2 really good teams. And hopefully, put a couple, teams and a couple media members just on notice that we have a serious team that's looking to compete and compete to win championships at Grapevine.
And you got 3 big time freshmen, man, that are gonna see big minutes, and David Coe and the Almatar brothers, Antoine and Armand, and those kids aren't built like your normal freshmen, man. Those kids are meaty. And I mean, they'll put their head down and absorb contact and get and ones. I mean, I think the 2 twins got 3 or 4 and ones. Talk about how big those kids are going to be for y'all.
Yeah, all 3 of them are just super high level kids and players. I mean, We've been fortunate just as a staff at Grapevine to be able to watch those 3 grow up over the last 2 years. There were a lot of questions, especially from the outside. What were these guys going to look like, when you step on a varsity floor, right, against a real varsity team like a Lancaster, like a, Midlothian. And they've been playing high-level basketball since they were little, and they've been playing all summer long against really, really high-level competition on the Under Armour circuit. They played Gasso NCAA Division and won. So there were a lot of question marks from outside, but even us as a staff, we kind of knew, just from what we'd watched and then what we'd been able to see in off season and in our open gyms, these dudes can go. And they proved in those games that hey, yeah, we not only do we belong, but we're here to compete to win. We don't care that we're freshmen. They're built, like you said, those the 2 twins, and let's go ahead and set the record straight. All mutter for everybody out there, because I've had probably people text me.
Almatar.
Almatar sounds kind of foreign almost. But, these 2, the community is going to learn. I mean, they've been learning about these 3 for a while. In middle school, they dominated, and I mean, they were winning games, scoring 110 points in a game. So,
wow.
They really, they've been impressive. But honestly, and we have an incredible team, but just kind of highlighting these 3 real quick, just to brag on them. It's not it's not just their talent on the court. Like, they've been unbelievable in the community and just leaders on campus. Like, people look up to these guys, and they train like pros. I mean, they take their training very seriously, and a lot
They
of
all
that is
they all played together at the same middle school.
yes, all three of them. Yeah, and
Jesus.
there's another who actually ended up at Argyle, who was a fantastic kid as well, but he was with them too at Grapevine Middle School. So they were doing some special things last year. But yeah,
That's
I
not
mean, these
fair.
guys, they've got unbelievable parents, and they've got unbelievable, trainers and youth coaches in their lives. So that's why they're so successful. But they're so mature. I mean, you get to meet these guys, and it's like they're going to shake your hand and look you in the eye, and that's where I'm blown away. Actually, is their maturity and how they handle themselves.
Yeah, and they seem very, very poised.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
nothing phases them. And if you said you were up by 12 against Lancaster with 5 minutes to go, I'd consider that a win with those three guys on the floor. And I mean, you're going against. I mean, Lancaster's whole starting five may go to college and play basketball. Well, they probably will. And they got a high major kid in Dylan Battie over there. I mean, so I mean, I'd consider that a win, man.
Yeah, coaches aren't. We don't like moral victories, and we were pissed that we lost, and we
Yeah,
had to go back and figure it out as a staff. But like, I mean, yeah, we'd be kidding ourselves to think we're not, but we expect to win every time we play, and it's like, again, it's the name. Like we beat a
yeah.
DeSoto over the summer in like a summer league game, and it was like, for us it was a big deal. For no one else seemed to really care much. It was like, guys, that's a team that's won a state championship or two in the last decade. So it's like those are big deals to us. Like, we take every time we get a chance to play against somebody, like, it's a big deal to us. We take it super serious. And I don't want to get off on a tangent on like fall leagues and stuff, but there's a lot of games and a lot of opportunities for these guys to play. So we don't take it lightly.
So off the young three, we get to the point guard Charlie. You get to the big man and the two big men, Russ Paul and Charlie. No, not Charlie. Matthew Woodcock. Yeah. Do y'all as coaches get together and y'all are like, this is what we expect this season? You got 6 really good kids that can go. Some may not be as good as others, but they fit in. I mean, I saw Charlie. He scored, I believe, when I was watching my video back, he scored 8 points in a row on Midlothian, and 3 of them were drives. Russ is going to be a force on the boards, I believe, and Matthew. Well, I think once he puts it together, he's going to be a force also. So, like, when y'all get together and y'all talk about the season, what y'all expect, what y'all think, how it's going to go? Do y'all have those conversations?
Yeah, almost every day. I mean, like, we talk about our guys a lot, and I mean, those guys in particular, like, I mean, that dude is tough. Like, Charlie's a tough little dude, and he'll let you know about it too. Like, he's probably one of the best talkers. Like, I got to throw him out of practice every now and then because he's got like an absolute, cannon of a mouth. So we're teaching him, when to control it, but he's fiery, and part of that fire is what makes him so good and so competitive. And I think he ended up with like 24 against Midlothian. And he can get baskets. Like, he knows how to put the ball in the hole, and he's a great on-ball defender too. And Russell, I mean, that kid has more potential than most do. Like, I mean, he's got a 7-foot wingspan, a 38-inch half vertical. I mean, he's touching 11'10". So the kid is way above the rim, runs like a deer, is a fantastic kid, works his tail off. And he's just beginning. Like, honestly, he didn't start playing basketball till 8th grade. And never really knew how good he was going to be. Was never really got with a trainer, never really played with a team until last year. And the guys over at 3D did an unbelievable job with his development. And he's just worked his tail off. And he's actually put himself in a position to play college basketball. And I think he's a high-level player one day, to be honest. I just think he needs some time. He's super young. He should be a junior and is like 3 weeks away from potentially could have been a sophomore if he was born 3 weeks later. So he's super young. Matt is 6'10". Like, I mean, he's a big dude and he's got a big brain too. He's like a 6.0 student, like all AP. I can't even pronounce the classes he's in. He's like, I'm like looking at his schedule, like, what in the world? I have no idea what you're doing.
Crazy.
But super, super smart kid, amazing kid. I think his ceiling's like I really do think his ceiling is like Ivy League level basketball. Like I think he can get there. He's, he thinks the game. He really wants to be great. And so we have some, like you said, some unbelievable players and pieces. It's our job as coaches to figure out how to use it and how to put it all together. And I mean, you just mentioned 6 guys, but we have like just a group of dudes that want to win. And honestly, Grapevine, like, I don't know how familiar you are with just the school, but, and our listeners are, but Grapevine's good at everything. Like they do that Lone Star Cup deal where they measure, the overall best high school, sports and all of UIL. It's like bands included, debate, like all these things. And Grapevine's like consistently top 5. Like in 5A, there's 252 schools in the state, and it's like Highland Park, Grapevine. I mean, at the 6A level, it's like Austin Westlake. I mean, is always up there, and South Lake, and we're good at everything. But basketball's never really had it like that, and so we've had some great teams over the years, but just haven't been able to get over that hump. And so, I mean, when we got here as a staff, Coach Seibert and myself, when in his first year as a head coach, like we'd only won one playoff game since 1985. At Grapevine, one basketball playoff game in 40, 48 years? My math bad? 25 plus 23, 48 years. Yeah, that's a long time. So by winning one playoff game, it was like everybody was celebrating like we won the Super Bowl. I'm like, yo, we got another game. We got another, we got another round. So now we're just kind of trying to take that next step in year 3. Like, and I don't, no one cares. Like a lot of people are like, you lost 10 seniors, whatever. We've got enough. Like we got these pieces and the guys believe they got enough. We want to compete for a state championship this year and every year. And I learned a lot of that from Coach McCaslin in North Texas. It's like, why play for anything else? Like who's playing for second? Like we play for championships and that's all. And we play to be the last man, the last team standing. And every coach says it, but it's like only if you can really like believe it and go do it. But I genuinely believe with who we have this year, we can go do it. And we can be the first team in Grapevine to win a district championship since 2006, I believe. So that's been a while. Yeah.
Let's switch it over to your experience at North Texas and be in the graduate assistant spot. Talk about how that helped you grow as a coach.
Man, just everything I was able to learn from the coaches that were there. I mean, it's like a humbling experience because when you're young, you think you know a lot and you think you know how things should be, especially when I was coming in at age, I was 22 and I had experienced a little bit. I'd been in the G League, like I'd played and I kind of thought I knew some things and I got there and I got humbled pretty quick. I was like, man, like these dudes, they know what they're talking about. Like Coach Mack is amazing. And Coach Hodge, I mean, just a wealth of knowledge. Dream Dowling now at Kansas State. Matt Brower played at Wichita State. The coaches there, like the culture at North Texas. I mean, another situation where they came in when I was there, 2017-18. That was our first year at North Texas, Coach Mack's first year. North Texas had kind of been a bit of a laughingstock in basketball and, had won, I believe, 6 games the year before we got there. And then we came in and won 20 and had one of the biggest turnarounds in the country. And a lot of that is attributed to the guys and their work ethic. But just for me personally, like the experience, you can't replace it. It was working for amazing people with amazing families that knew how to win and knew how to teach lessons that went beyond the court. handling adversity, and just, I mean, I can't be more grateful for my time there. It's gotten me to just appreciate life more, and appreciate, you know, now that I've had time to step away, just appreciate the culture that they've established there. It's winning one, and like I said, can't say enough good things.
Yeah, and I mean, McCaslin, he's the first like UNT coach to get like a base pay of over like $1 million, something like
Deservedly
that.
so.
Yeah, man, definitely. I mean, he does great every year. He's also got a son that's going to be
Oof,
big
we
time.
gotta
I don't,
play him.
yeah, I don't know how tall he'll be, but Jesus,
Hey,
that kid can put the ball in the hole.
if you're the son of Grant McCaslin, you know he's gonna fight and claw,
Yeah,
find ways to win and impact winning, and it doesn't
yeah,
even have to look pretty. But with Jed, it does look pretty sometimes, because
it
that
does.
shot is going in the hoop, and so we got to scout him and beat Argyle. So thanks a lot for UIL for realigning and putting the 4A state champions in our district, as if our district was
Yeah,
not hard enough.
man, Argyle is tough every year.
Yeah, they're tough, and Virgil's
Um,
tough, and Ryan's tough, and we got a lot of work to do.
So you did scouting and analytics at UNT, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so how can you use that to help your kids right now that y'all are coaching?
Man, super valuable experience. Like, I was pushed really hard at UNT to find ways to like help us, and as a team, to find just little value adds, and like I was able to take a lot from what I learned there and bring it to high school. Now, there are some difficulties about scouting in high school. It's like in college, you have synergy, which you can pull game film, and it's high quality film from anywhere all the time. And like in high school, it's like the Wild West, because we have to request video, and we're watching Baller TV.
Yeah.
It's like filmed with a toaster sometimes, and it's like
Oh yeah.
you can't tell who's who. And you're like, wait, is that 25 or is that?
Oh man, that's funny.
And so scouting can be a challenge in high school, because you're like piecing together, and then you got football too, so you never even really fully know who's going to be on the roster. And it's not like this stuff is publicly accessible. You kind of just have to do your digging, and like you have to go watch these teams, like go get your eyeballs on them, like get on social media and do some digging and figure out like who is this kid, like what is this team looking like, and start putting together your scouting reports. And that's what I do, and I've been able to help our guys, I think, get ready for games that way. We use film really heavily. We try to make everything we do in like at Grapevine is built around, from a basketball standpoint, preparing them for the next level. So we do a lot of things when it comes to film and scouting that are what you'd see at a lot of mid-major colleges. And, I hope that prepares them for the next step. And it helps them get ready for games. I feel like we're super prepared when we play teams, and hopefully it shows in the games. Sometimes it may not. It's like, Coach, what are you doing with these guys? But especially with freshmen and young kids like we do, we have a young team, like film's super important and scouting is super important. It just gives them that confidence. I think I think sometimes we overstate our influence as coaches in the game, but I truly believe scouting in high school, it might make a 8 to 10 point difference in a game. I mean, if we're being honest, just in terms of taking away strengths, like knowing calls, I mean, things like that, knowing personnel. It's a big part of what we do, is preparing for games. And so I'd like to think it makes an impact, but we can't score. So, the guys win the game. If they win, it's on them. If we lose, it's on us.
Yeah, that's how it goes. Let's talk about one more thing. Because the day that I was going to that open gym, we were on the phone for like 35 minutes. And you talked about one thing that's big time in high school basketball right now, and that's media. As far as like the posts that you put on Twitter, like the graphics that you make. Talk about that side of high school basketball now, because I know it's a big thing because it's a big thing to these kids now too.
Yeah, I mean, and you know as well as anybody that like we can use these platforms in a variety of ways. And like right now with our guys, we're teaching a lot about how to build their brand, but like how to use social media properly and ethically. And you know, I feel like we do a really good job with our team social media by helping promote these guys and helping just project like positive things like to our school, to our community. The social media, like Texas high school basketball social media is just like really entertaining to watch and follow. Like I'll get a bag of popcorn and just like scroll and like, yeah, what's Craig up to tonight? What's Buff? What are all these guys talking about? You know, but I mean, for our guys, like it's just kind of the world we live in today, and it's a super great tool to use to help these guys get what they want, which is a lot of them want to play in college. A lot of them want to, you know, grow this like social media platform they have to take care of issues that they care about. You know, that's like the bigger purpose for them. Maybe is something that they really care deeply about, that they want to impact the world. Which we have some of those guys right now. They're already thinking about that. Like they're thinking about how can I use my platform once I build it to impact people in a positive way. You know, with the graphics and things like that. I mean, my roommate at UNT was our SID, Luke Della, who we'd roomed together on the road a lot, and he was in charge of our social media. So he did a lot of graphics and a lot of Photoshop, and I learned a lot from him in just ways that you can kind of promote the team and like do some fun stuff behind the scenes. And it's kind of an interesting, like in high school, you're the coach but you're also like helping run social media and you're helping like with a lot of things. I mean, like doing strength coach, like whatever. And so academic advisor, you're everything. So,
yep.
You know, social media is just one of those job responsibilities that we got to pick up, and it's big. Yeah. It keeps the kids excited. You know, it sheds a positive light on the program, and you know, retention is really big too. I think Coach Holman, y'all talked about it on when he was on the podcast, talking about like prep schools, and it's like we have to keep these guys. Like we have to find a way to keep them and keep them, you know, enjoying their time at Grapevine, and we want to display all the amazing things that Grapevine has to offer, which are, you know, like we do that through social media. We do that through showing like, hey, this is what we do here. Like, these are the resources that we have available to us. Like, this is what the community says about us, you know? And so we use it in a variety of ways, but my friend and I, Trey Jackson, who I went to school with at ACU, we talk about kind of all the time how like a lot of these high school social media platforms aren't that great. Maybe I won't say aren't that great, but like they maybe are utilized in a different way than most college and professional programs use them. And I think it's just a big inefficiency in the market is, you know, using it properly and, you know, putting out good content. So like yourself, but you know all about that. You like to highlight guys, and you do an unbelievable job yourself in highlighting kids and getting them the exposure they need to go do what they want to do and live out their dream of being a college player.
I appreciate it, man.
For sure.
That's all I got for you, man.
Hey, cheers. I appreciate you bringing me on. It was fun.
Yeah,
We'll definitely have to do it again.
I'll definitely be seeing y'all this year at some point. I'll probably come out to that Birdville game.
The gym will be hot. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll have to have update you. I mean, your Twitter bot, your Twitter AVI or whatever your what's it called? What's that picture? The background picture.
Oh, yeah. We'll have to get a new one.
Oh no, yeah. Of course, with you know the new everything. Just I mean, that's a good picture. I don't know. That one could last a long time.
Yeah, I forgot the guy's name that shot that photo, but he was at y'all's game doing photos. I don't know what his name was.
Okay, I'll have to shoot.
I don't know. But
no, man, I'm looking forward to seeing you in a gym and that Birdville game. Circle that one. That'll be a fun one.
Yeah. All right, man.
Take care.
You have a good night, buddy. Thank you.
Night, Craig. See ya.
See ya.